Hey everyone, welcome back for another deep dive. Today, we're going to be looking at a career path that, may not be on everyone's radar. But if you're someone who's maybe on the autism spectrum or knows someone who is, this might be something that really sparks some interest. We're talking about medical
Oh,
transcription.
yeah, medical transcription.
And we found this great blog post. It's called Exploring Medical Transcriptionist Careers for Individuals with Autism, Job Types, Pros and Cons. And we thought this would be perfect for a deep dive, to really kind of unpack this and see, what it's all about.
Absolutely. I think there's so much potential there. I mean, when you think about the healthcare field and the need for clear communication and accuracy, it just seems like there could be a really nice fit for a lot of people on the spectrum.
So to start off, maybe just for anyone who's not familiar with medical transcription, could you
Yeah.
give us like the quick rundown of what that actually entails?
Sure. Yeah. So basically, you have healthcare professionals, right? Doctors, nurses, and they're seeing patients all day long, and they need to document everything
Hmm.
about those visits, for the patient's medical records. But who has time to sit there and type all that up?
Right, exactly. They're busy.
Right. So they'll often dictate their notes, into a recording device. And that's where the medical transcriptionist comes in.
Okay, so they're the ones who are taking that audio and turning it into the written report.
Exactly. They listen to those recordings. And they translate all that medical jargon, all the technical terms and abbreviations, into clear and accurate text that goes into the patient's file.
Okay, and why might this be a good fit, for someone on the spectrum?
Well, there are a few things that really stand out. First, you've got the focus and attention to detail,
Hmm.
which a lot of people on the spectrum excel at, right?
Right, they're often really good at, zeroing in on the details and making sure everything is just so.
Exactly, and that's crucial in medical transcription. You can't afford to miss a single word or misinterpret something because it could have real consequences for the patient.
Absolutely, accuracy is key.
And then you have the love of language. Many autistic individuals are fascinated by language. They love learning new words and understanding the nuances of grammar and syntax.
So all those medical terms and abbreviations would be like a puzzle for them to solve.
Yeah, exactly. And they might even find it enjoyable, to learn all that specialized vocabulary.
So it sounds like this field really taps into a lot of those natural strengths.
Yeah, it's about finding those strengths and putting them to good use.
Now, this blog post that we're looking at, it outlines four main types of medical transcription jobs. Um, let's start with the in-house medical transcriptionist.
Okay.
So
Yeah.
what does that look like?
So an in-house transcriptionist, they would be working directly in a hospital or clinic, surrounded by all the hustle and bustle of the healthcare environment.
So they're right there in the action.
Yeah, exactly. They might be part of a team of transcriptionists,
Right.
or they might be working more independently, but they're definitely integrated into that healthcare setting.
And what would you say are some of the potential benefits
Yeah.
of that, for someone on the spectrum?
Well, I think for someone who thrives on routine and structure,
Yeah.
that kind of environment can be really comforting.
Right. It's very predictable.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You know what to expect each day. You have your set tasks. You're working within a clear hierarchy.
And you're interacting with the same people day in and day out.
Right. You get to know the doctors and nurses, and you know what their preferences are in terms of how they like their reports formatted and things like that.
So it kind of becomes like a little community almost.
Yeah, exactly. And that can be really reassuring for someone who maybe struggles with social anxiety or just prefers to have those established relationships.
But of course, it's not all, sunshine and roses.
Mm.
What are some of the potential challenges that we should be aware of with that in-house environment?
Oh, yeah, absolutely. I mean, hospitals and clinics can be very stimulating environments, lots of noise, lots of activity.
It's very fast-paced.
Yeah, exactly. And for someone who's sensitive to sensory overload, that could be really challenging.
Right, all those beeping machines and the fluorescent lights and the constant movement.
It can be really overwhelming for some people.
So it's definitely something to consider carefully.
Absolutely. It's not a one-size-fits-all kind of thing.
And that actually brings us to our next job type, the remote medical transcriptionist.
Ah, yes, the work-from-home hero.
So what are the key differences here?
Well, the biggest one is obviously the location. Instead of working in a hospital or clinic, you're working from the comfort of your own home.
So you're trading in those scrubs for sweatpants.
Yeah, pretty much. And, for a lot of people on the spectrum, that can be a huge advantage.
What is that?
Well, think about it. You get to control your environment completely. You can set up your workspace exactly the way you like it.
So if you're sensitive to noise,
Yeah.
you can make sure it's nice and quiet.
Exactly. You can dim the lights if you need to. You can even, control the temperature.
It's all about creating that sensory comfort.
Yeah, and for some people, that can make all the difference in their ability to focus and be productive.
Plus, you're eliminating the commute,
Ah, yes. The dreaded commute.
which can be a major source of stress and anxiety for a lot of people.
Absolutely, especially for those with sensory sensitivities.
So working from home, really offers a lot of flexibility and control.
It does, but it also requires a certain level of self-discipline and motivation.
Right, because you're not going into an office every day. You have to be able to structure your own day and stay on track with your work.
Exactly. You need to be able to set your own deadlines, manage your time effectively,
Huh.
and avoid getting distracted.
So it's not for everyone.
No, definitely not. Some people thrive in that kind of independent environment, but others might struggle with the lack of structure or the potential for isolation.
So it's all about knowing yourself and what works best for you.
Exactly. It's about finding that balance.
So we've got in-house, we've got remote. Two very different options, but both with their own unique pros and cons.
Right, and we've only just scratched the surface here. There's still so much more to explore.
Well, stay tuned because we've got two more job types to delve into, and they get even more interesting.
Oh, yeah. We're just getting started.
So don't go anywhere.
We'll be right back. So, we've talked about in-house and remote medical transcription. But what if you want to really niche down and focus on a specific area of medicine?
Oh, yeah, that's where things get really interesting. Like you could become the go-to transcriptionist for cardiologists or neurologists or...
Exactly. And that's actually the next job type we're going to talk about, the specialized medical transcriptionist.
So tell me more about that. Like what makes it specialized?
Well, basically, it means you're focusing on a particular specialty within healthcare. Like you said, you could specialize in cardiology or neurology,
Wow.
or maybe oncology or dermatology.
So you're really becoming an expert in that specific field.
Yeah, exactly. You're not just transcribing general medical reports anymore. You're delving into the intricacies of a particular area of medicine, learning all the specific terminology, procedures, diagnoses.
It's like a whole other language within the language of medicine.
Yeah, it is. And that can be really appealing for some people on the spectrum.
How so?
Well, a lot of autistic individuals have these very intense interests.
Right, they might be fascinated by a particular subject and want to learn everything they can about it.
Exactly. And so if you have that kind of passion for a specific area of medicine, specializing in transcription could be a great way to combine that interest with a fulfilling career.
The blog post mentions an example of someone with ASD who was fascinated by the human brain. And they ended up specializing in neurology transcription. And they became like a sought-after expert in that field.
That's so cool. I love that.
But of course, specialization comes with its own set of demands.
Oh, yeah, for sure.
What are some of the things to keep in mind?
Well, first off, you're going to need additional training. You're going to have to learn the ins and outs of that specialty. And that might involve taking courses or getting certified.
So it's not just about being a good typist anymore.
No, you really have to have a deep understanding of the subject matter and be able to accurately transcribe those highly technical reports.
And I imagine the expectations are higher, too.
Absolutely. You're dealing with more complex information. And the stakes are higher because those reports are being used to make important decisions about patient care.
So it's a big responsibility.
It is, but it can also be incredibly rewarding to know that you're playing such a vital role in the healthcare system.
Okay, so we've got in-house remote specialized. What's the fourth and final job type?
This one's for the true detail-oriented folks out there, the medical language specialists.
Oh, yeah, I've heard of this, but I'm not really sure what it entails.
So these are the people who go beyond just transcribing. They're also analyzing and editing medical documents to ensure that they're accurate, complete, and compliant with all the regulations.
So they're like the grammar police of the medical world.
Kinda, yeah. They're the ones who catch all the typos and inconsistencies and make sure that the language is clear and concise.
I bet they love those squiggly red lines in Microsoft Word.
Oh, I'm sure they do. But seriously, they play a crucial role because even a small error in a medical document could have serious consequences.
Right, like imagine if a medication dosage was mistyped.
Exactly. That's why medical language specialists are so important. They're the ones who make sure that those documents are error-free and meet the highest standards.
So they're like the guardians of accuracy in the medical field.
I like that. Yeah, they're protecting the integrity of those patient records.
So we've covered a lot of ground here. 4 different types of medical transcription jobs, each with its own unique set of pros and cons.
It's amazing how much variety there is within this one field.
Yeah, and I think that's one of the key takeaways here, that there's no one-size-fits-all approach.
Exactly. It's not about finding the perfect job for all autistic individuals. It's about understanding the different options and finding the one that best aligns with your individual strengths and needs.
And preferences,
Yeah,
right? Because everyone's different.
absolutely. And what works for one person might not work for another.
So it's all about finding that right fit.
That's the key.
And this is just the starting point, This deep dive is really meant to spark your curiosity.
And to give you some food for thought.
So if you're intrigued by medical transcription,
I encourage you to do some more research. Learn about the specific skills and technologies involved.
maybe connect with some people who are already working in the field.
And as you're exploring this career path, I want you to think about this. What unique strengths and perspectives might someone on the autism spectrum bring to the field of medical transcription?
Ooh, that's a great question. Yeah, that really gets you thinking. It's not just about finding a job. It's about how those unique strengths and perspectives can actually benefit the field itself.
Right. It's about bringing something new to the table. Like imagine someone with an incredible eye for detail. Able to spot those tiny errors that others might miss. That kind of accuracy is so important in medical transcription.
Oh, absolutely. Because like we said before, even a small mistake
Yeah.
in a medical record could have huge consequences.
Exactly. So having someone who's really wired for precision could be a game changer for a healthcare team.
And it goes beyond just catching errors too, right?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
Like someone with an autistic perspective might see patterns or connections in the data that others wouldn't even think to look for.
Absolutely. They might be able to come up with new ways of organizing information or streamlining processes,
Yeah.
making things more efficient and effective.
It's like having a fresh set of eyes on a problem.
Exactly. It's a different way of thinking.
And that's what makes neurodiversity so powerful.
Yeah.
It's not just about fitting in, it's about bringing those unique strengths to the table.
And changing the game. So I guess the main takeaway here is medical transcription offers a lot of possibilities. And it's about finding the right fit for you. But it's also about recognizing the value that neurodiversity can bring to this field and to the healthcare industry as a whole.
Absolutely well said. So if you're listening to this and you're intrigued by the idea of medical transcription, I encourage you to do some more research, explore those different job types, learn about the skills and technologies involved.
And then don't be afraid to reach out to people who are already working in the field.
Yeah, connect with them, ask questions.
Get a feel for what it's really like.
Who knows, maybe medical transcription is your perfect fit. Thanks for joining us on this deep dive, everyone. We'll see you next time.